To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice.
I know that, Dad, but I think if we continue down this road, it's going to be too detrimental for the kids. It's just too hard.
Do you know that the harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing? Nothing that has meaning is easy. Easy doesn't enter into grown-up life.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light.
Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
Small minds discuss other people. Gossip. Good minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas.
You said at the very beginning that people complain because they cannot accurately view reality. And so if we tie that to this concept, then it means that people will disproportionately blame the universe and then perceive significantly greater risk for them asking a girl out, starting a business, taking a loan, asking a stranger to buy something, making a podcast, and for fear of what other people on the internet will say.
The only way you can play a win-win game is if you have long-term iterated moves. But that's not actually the most common game played in society. The most common game played is one called a stag's hunt, where if we cooperate, we can bring down a big stag and both have big dinners. But if we don't cooperate, then we have to go hunt like rabbits and we each have small dinners. So most of, and that game has two stable equilibriums. And one could be where we're both hunting the rabbit, and one could be where we're hunting the stag. So the high trust society is a more virtuous society where I can trust you to come hunt the stag with me and show up on time and do the work and divide it up properly. So you want to live in a system where everybody has their own set of virtues and follows them, and then we all win. But I would argue you don't need to do that for sacrifice. You don't need to do that for other people. You can do it just purely for yourself. You will have higher self-esteem. You will attract other high virtue people.
Would I go on a stag hunt with me?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. And if you're the kind of person who long-term signals ethics and virtues, then you'll attract other people who are ethical and virtuous. Whereas if you are a shark, you will eventually find yourself swimming entirely amongst sharks, and that's an unpleasant existence.
You can go back into your past and you can think, oh yeah, that's when I made that decision. I knew when I made it, it was a bad decision, And your life is full of the consequences of decisions you took in the past that put you on the wrong path. And you said we were talking about repairing things. What you do is you go back to where you made the mistake, you figure out what the mistake was. There's this cartoon trope that there's an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. Well, you come to a crossroad, that's also where you meet the devil. Go this way or that way. If you go the wrong direction, your life will be then the consequences of that bad choice. And then that will tangle you up, and then you'll suffer for it. Then you have to figure out, okay, what's the suffering? What's the problem? When did I make the bad choice? Which road should have I taken? That's how you fix a trauma. You replace the road you did take with the road you should have taken. And now you have a road forward. And once you have a road forward, the trauma is no longer traumatic because you have a road. Your brain brings up the past because you have not specified the proper road forward.
Self-esteem is earned by yourself, with yourself. Someone can tell you your whole life, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're so smart, and you can fear you're not. Right? People like that all the time, right?
Absolutely.
And they have all this anxiety because they thought they're the best in the world and they find out they're not. The parents overblew who they were at that stage. They didn't teach them to develop it or to push through or develop the muscle that would make them the best in the world at what they do. On the other hand, you can be told by people you're a piece of worthless, piece of junk, you'll never be this, you're a piece of that, and that person can say, screw you, I'll show you who I am. So what people have said has zero impact on your self-esteem, and telling people they're great or not great does not change it. Teaching them to have grit, teaching them to push through. The way you develop esteem for yourself is by doing difficult things that you know are right. When you do something that you know is right, even though it's difficult, your esteem for yourself grows, and no one can take that away. They can take away money or material things. No one can take away who I've become as a man.
As Albert Einstein said, Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. This is something that I think about a lot. At the end of the day, success is incredibly motivating, and accomplishing your goals and your dreams is something that I wanted to do since I was a little kid. That's been a driving force in my life. But through all of that, the times that I've felt happiest, the times that I've felt most secure, the times that my anxiety and my stress have been at zero, are the times where I felt like I was being most true to myself, where I was trying to really become a person of substance. I wasn't looking for something extrinsic. I was focused inward and trying to develop the person that I'm becoming, that I had some code that I was living by, that I was really deciding not just what outwardly success looks like, but what does it mean to be a good person? What does it mean to be an effective person? What does it mean to be worthy of trust? And those things, at the end of the day, those things are something that when you invest in finding value in that it takes you somewhere amazing. And as Bruce Lee said, knowledge will give you power, but character will give you respect.
Purpose-driven success builds confidence, helps you understand your potential, and creates passion. So try this today. Write a mission statement. Not for others, but for yourself. You're not doing this to make them look bad. You're doing this to find what you care about. You're not doing this to prove them wrong. You're doing this to find something that you like doing. You're not doing this because they didn't believe in you. You're doing this because you want to learn to believe in yourself. Keep it somewhere visible. That's your anchor. So if no one's clapping for your idea yet, good. That means you're early. That means you're building something most people can't see. Support may come later, but your belief has to come first. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in your idea enough to stand alone for a while, you're not going to be ready for the crowd that comes after.
Most people who claim to be perfectionists are not perfectionists. They're actually procrastinating because they're not doing anything. Right. And so it just is a socially acceptable label, because the real perfectionists feel this sickness where they like want to itch their skin off until the thing's done, but they are trying to get it done. Whereas the perfectionist or the procrastinator uses that to say, like, I'm not sure, I'm just getting it right. But like the person who's an actual perfectionist, one, wants to finish and is working every hour of every day on the thing and seeing progress towards it. Because if you don't know how your thing is getting better, you're not a perfectionist, you're just ignorant.
So as you begin to look at life, as you begin to look at the things you want to do, decide that you're going to become the active force in your life. Decide that you're not going to go through life feeling like a victim. Decide that when things become challenging, and they are, that you're not going to personalize it, that you're going to look at it and you do whatever you must do in order to work things out and learn from it. Learn from it. That's the key. I like what Charles Udall said. He says, in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. If you've lost your job, don't say that I've been laid off. Just say I've been given an opportunity by the universe to find my life work.
What do you think most people get wrong about motivation?
They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. If you have motivation, that's great. That's some kindling to the fire. All it takes is a little bit of spark, you can burn the whole forest up. But motivation, you have to learn to exist without it. You have to learn to be, you have to be your best self when you're least motivated. And that's the tricky part about all that shit.
Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there, because I'm not going to always be motivated.
But if you keep making the same choices, you're going to keep doing the same things, you're going to keep creating the same experiences, you're going to keep feeling the same emotions. And your biology and your neurocircuitry and your chemistry and your hormones and even your gene expression is going to stay the same because you're the same. But keep thinking the same way, and keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way, and do it over and over again. Those circuits in the brain ultimately become hardwired. And the emotions that are a response to someone or something, even your own thoughts, get conditioned subconsciously as a program into the body. So 95% of who we are by the middle of our life is an unconscious set of thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that are automatically programmed into our biology. So the first step to change is not thinking positively. You got to become conscious of those unconscious thoughts when you decide to make a different choice and it doesn't feel familiar. The thought that says, start tomorrow, it's too hard, just do it anyway, go ahead and make that choice, do the same thing. You're not good enough, you'll never change, you're too much like your parents, I failed last time. You have to be able to become so conscious of those unconscious thoughts that you would never go unconscious to that thought ever again, and that's change.
These obsessives that we bring in are challenging themselves to do the best job that they think they can do. That's what I'm there for, is for them to constantly look in the mirror and self-assess and challenge themselves. If we have a project and you're saying, okay, I can do that, that's not the project we want. The projects that say, I don't know if I can animate that. I don't know how to write that story. I don't know how to do that. Those are the things we want, because through that curiosity, you'll reach a level that you didn't think was possible.
How would an abundant person think? Write it down, dude, and fire and wire those thoughts in your brain and install the hardware. Keep doing it with attention and intention. It becomes the new voice in your head. It becomes a software program. Then say, okay, how am I going to be in my life today? What would an abundant person, how would they behave? And before you reach for your cell phone and start scrolling through your social media, close your eyes and rehearse in your mind how that person would walk, how they would breathe, how they would smile, how they would greet people, how they would be on Zoom calls, how would they be in traffic, how would they be at dinner. And the act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing the act, if you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between the real life experience and what you're imagining. In fact, just a little bit of time, you start to install the neurological hardware to look like you already did it.
You have no idea how great you really are, because you are using such minimal of what you have. And if people can learn to focus, this is what's possible. While it may not be pretty, like people want to do a documentary on me. I go, no, I don't want you to do a documentary on me, because I will have normal, everyday people picking me apart. Oh, his life is miserable. Who wants to live like that? It's crazy how it's almost like he's sick, he's psychotic. The most frustrating thing in the world for me is when normal people judge a man like myself on what it really takes to extract greatness from nothing. It takes every bit of who you are if you choose that route. If you don't, Merry Christmas, do what you gotta do.
The truth is, action creates motivation, not the other way around. A lot of us think that I'll feel motivated, then I'll take action. It's the other way around. Take action, and then you'll feel motivated. Now, this idea is actually backed by science. The Zeigarnik effect shows that starting a task, even imperfectly, creates mental tension that keeps us engaged until we finish. This psychological principle, once you understand it, will transform the way you live. It will stop you from waiting to feel ready. Here's how it works. Your brain remembers unfinished tasks more than finished ones. When you start something, even just a little, your brain creates a mental loop that stays open. That tension makes you want to go back and complete it. That's why it's easier to keep working after you've started, but so hard to begin.
If you don't control what's going on, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. And maybe that's exciting. And actually, there's no doubt about it. And then you have the additional advantage if you're attempting to say what you believe to be true and attempting to act in the manner that you think is most appropriate. That's genuinely you, and you have the force of reality behind you. Obviously, that's what you have if you're trying to, say, live in the truth, is you have the force of reality behind you. That seems like a good deal. Then you have the reality and the adventure.
But one of the things that really motivates me, or one of my most powerful motivational frames, is thinking about the person that I want to become as the destination. And thinking like, I want to be bulletproof. I want to be bulletproof in these ways. I want to be bulletproof in my marriage. I want to be bulletproof in my business, etc. And I think about that man, whoever I want him to be. Like we said, hell is when you look at who you could have been and realize that you're not that person. And then I think, if I were to make that man, what would I put that man through to make him who he is? Like, it wouldn't be easy times. It wouldn't be quick wins. It wouldn't even be easy wins. It would be the toil and the struggle of achieving and reaching for things that are right out of grasp, that are right above my threshold, and continuing to do that to like lift the weight, to build the muscle, to break it down and do it over and over again, because like that's what creates the character traits that are the man that I want to be. And so when I'm going through those like really harder times, I like to think of like looking in my mental mirror of like, I'm making you. I'm not there yet, but I'm making you. Once you're really clear, like this is what I want, then everything that's not that is what I'm willing to give up to get it. Now, that thing can change. And I think that's the part that people miss, is that like, once you learn how to get stuff, then it's like, okay, well, he said he was willing to do, it's like, yeah, well, the thing I wanted changed. Do I have your permission to change what I want? And I think we should all have permission to change what we want in any given moment, and not having basically sunk life bias of like, I put 10 years into this thing, and that's okay, and that's what I needed to do at that time, and today, I'm going to change everything.
We manifest what we believe we are worthy of receiving. Really visualize it. You're actually priming your subconscious to help you reach that goal if you're specific about it. The exact type of relationship that you want, the exact house that you want, the exact figure you want to earn next year, whatever it is, write it down and be specific. As humans, we need goals. We need to feel that we're working towards something to give us the sense of motivation, purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. You've got these goals, you know what you want, and think about, how am I going to get myself there? What do I need to do? What habits do I need to commit to daily to help me get there and help me grow?
What we have in our life is a reflection of ourselves. But remember, no matter where we are or whatever is happening, it's a reflection of ourselves, but it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. It's a thought about what you believe about yourself, what you believe about life, and what you believe you deserve.
Yes, you need to have something like a beach house, or the NASDAQ bell, or the business you're starting, or the love affair of your life, or the family you've always envisioned, or the health that you've always dreamt about. Absolutely. Swing for the fences. What do you want it to look like 10 years from now? But when it comes to manifesting based on science, I want you to think as manifesting as a bridge. Manifesting is a bridge that's made of bricks between you and the thing that you dream about. And what you do when you manifest is you don't manifest where the bridge is going. You manifest the bricks.
The imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Now, the imagination is the mental faculty out of which visions arise. Visions, pictures that we build in our mind. Most people don't use their imagination constructively. Most people use their imagination destructively. They imagine what they don't want. We've got to consciously and deliberately imagine what we do want. If we will take and sit down with a pen and ask ourselves, what do I really want? What do I really want? And write it down. And then Make a written description of it in the present tense. Writing causes thinking. Thinking creates an image. And you get these images going, you're building a vision in your mind. It's the visionaries that change the world.
He taught me not only someone's opinion of you does not have to determine your reality. He said that you have to work on yourself and you have to have an unstoppable attitude, and no excuse is acceptable, and you've got to make it a priority, a non-negotiable in your life, and hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve. See it accomplished and go all out. Find a way to win in spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures. I tell people when I'm giving presentations, you will fail your way to success. I have a saying, is life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
You have not because you ask not. Most people don't have the life of their dreams because you don't ask God for the life of your dreams.
Action without planning is the cause of every failure. Action without planning is the cause of underachievement. Action without planning is the cause of frustration, time wastage, anxiety, stress, and lack of success in life.
Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Ultimately, you only want it because you think it's going to change the way you feel. And many times you get what you want and you don't feel that way. The illusion we have is getting things will make us happy. Getting your goal is not the purpose of your goal. The purpose of your goal is to become something that you are proud of and feel alive by. If you achieve a goal in a way that gives up your integrity, you will not be happy long term, even though you got the goal. If you achieve a goal just to achieve it because everyone else said you should be a doctor or a lawyer, you're going to be miserable. It has to be something you truly want, but it also requires something, growth. The only thing that makes us happy is one word, write it down, progress. Progress equals happiness.
You know, when you have more than you need, you naturally will give it away. Could you have an abundance of mystical and new experiences in your life? That would be so much more than a yacht to me. You with me? But you could have an abundance of synchronicities. Yes? How about an abundance of opportunities? Could you have an abundance of material things? Is there anything wrong in the kingdom with that? No. When people create abundance, I just want them to know that they can create. That's the journey. They get good at creating, if that's what they want to get good at, if it's abundance.
Manifestation is not creating a fantasy and then waiting for it to come true with no action from yourself. So I actually renamed vision boards action boards, as if to say that yes, create imagery that represents what you want, but then you have to be doing something every day to move yourself closer to that. Whether it's being healthier just so that your brain's in a better environment, or it's networking or dating or, saving money, whatever it is that's going to get you, let's say, the house that you want. A great example is people might say, of course I'd love a house in the Hamptons. But if that's not realistic for you in the short term, then you'll only reinforce the fact that you're failing at manifesting. So it's better to say, I'd like to be on the property ladder, and start there and then obviously build bigger.
Now think of this. Your behavior causes your results. If you want to change the results, don't look outside of yourself. Don't say it's the economy, it's the boss, it's my spouse, it's none of those things. It's something inside, and it's called a paradigm. How do you change it? Well, first of all, you start out with the result you want to change. Write out exactly the negative result that you're getting. Then ask yourself, what is the polar opposite to that? And write it out in the present tense as an affirmation. What you've done is you've programmed in a new habit that's essentially the opposite to the old. The old dies for a lack of nourishment because you've kept feeding the new one. And write it out 100 times a day, present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now. You give that a whirl. If it works for that, it'll work for everything.
Visualizing became a normal thing. And I never really knew that I had really a very special ability to visualize and to connect the dots, to say to myself, well, if I can see it, then it must be a reality. And I can make it a reality. So for me, the vision became a reality. So it was only then a matter of following through with the work. Because every single time when I had a vision about anything, I had to work my ass off. But it was pleasure.
Yeah.
See, that is the great thing. When you go to work and you know exactly why you're working, then it becomes fun, a challenge.
Focus equals feeling. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. Even if it's not true and you focus on it, you will feel like it's true. Focus equals reality to the individual, even though it's not reality in actuality. Hear me now. This is one of the most important things to tell you. I would jot it down if you would. We do not experience life. We only experience the life we focus on. I'm going to say that again. We do not experience life. We only experience the life we focus on. What's wrong is always available. So is what's right. But it all determines on what you focus on. Right now, there are millions of things happening. You could focus on millions, yes, literally millions. Because there's lots of things your brain basically distorts, deletes, and generalizes. If you were to take in everything that's happening consciously, you go stark raving mad. And so what happened is some people are pissed off and some people are worried. It has nothing to do with the other person, it has nothing to do with the event. It has to do with what you focus on. So we don't experience life. So the most important skill in life is controlling your focus.
You're capable of doing the actions. The only thing that will stand in your way is the garbage that's in your head. If you expect to achieve your goals, if you expect to reach your potential, if you expect to have your dreams come true, you must become a master at visualization.
You have to begin to go and address that trauma, and you have to look at it, which is hard. It's hard to look at it, and when it comes back up, man, it can get you real emotional. But it cleared more space in my body. And it gave me the ability to become even a better manifester of my reality, to manifest my abundance, to really embrace my talents and my gifts and thrive with them. There was something holding me back. As good as I was doing, there was so much more, and there still is much more. It never ends.
The tiny habits effect. B.J. Fogg, a Stanford behavioral scientist, found that habits stick when they start smaller than your resistance. When you make the bar low enough to win even on your worst days, you train your brain to associate action with success, not shame. That's how you rewire self-belief. Lowering the bar isn't giving up. It's giving yourself a chance to show up. Now this affects your confidence loop. Every time you follow through on something small, you build self-trust. And that trust becomes confidence. Confidence isn't built by big wins. It's built by micro promises kept. You start to think, I can rely on me. And that's how you shift from lazy to consistent, from overwhelmed to grounded.
See, a lot of people allow fear to stop them from living their dream. Answer your calling, whatever you're called to do. Don't count yourself out. Don't say, I can't do that. Many of us go through life saying no, and you don't even know what you're saying no to. You don't know what you cannot do if you're not willing to challenge yourself. Whatever it is that you don't know how to do right now, you can learn. I did not know how to speak for major corporations. I didn't know how to do that. But I decided to become a student. If you do your research, if you do your homework, if you make the commitment that I'm going to learn, when you look at what do I have going for me and drop your buckets where you are, decide I'm going to work and get myself together. A guy named Jim Rohn said, if you develop your gifts will take you places that you'll never begin to imagine.
The principle of success. Every wealthy person knows this. I don't know nobody wealthy don't have a vision board. I don't know nobody wealthy don't have their stuff written on a piece of paper. I don't know nobody. I know a lot of people doing good. We have discussed it at great lengths. They've showed me some of their vision boards that where I had to go back and change mine. I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. But you gotta have a vision board, it's gotta be written down. You know why? Because that's a scripture too. Habakkuk 2:2. Go, I know where this one at. Habakkuk 2:2. Go home and read that one. It says, write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time, wait for it. For surely it will come at an appointed time.
I think that becoming aware of what's in your energetic field is one of the most empowering things that you can become aware of, because ultimately, if you perceive on the outside of certain things in your life and it makes you feel a certain way, taking responsibility is understanding that the way you feel is something that's inside your energy field. So if somebody is jealous of someone else, or someone else is feeling resistance for something they're seeing, there's a couple ways that you can go about mitigating that. You could set boundaries and not have that energy around you, not being perceiving of it, or you could integrate that energy of what you're feeling on the inside and transform it and kind of let go of the perspective. But one thing that I think is so overlooked is people continue, like being in the phone all day, what you look at does influence your subconscious mind.
But I just kept on, man. Just kept on with it. I just kept the faith. I kept believing. I kept asking it. I kept wanting. God got great life for you, man. But you're going to have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, you're going to have to believe it. After you believe it, you got to put your work in. Now, if you don't want to do the work that it takes to be successful, this man with his success, if you knew how hard he worked, if you knew the hours he put in, the hours his daddy put in, if you knew what it really took, it's daunting. It's days, man, where you go, whoa, what is this I'm trying to do? But you got to hang in there. See, getting what you want is up to you. How you get there, that's up to God. See, the problem with you is you trying to figure out how to do something. Listen to this. The how-to ain't none of your business. The Bible don't tell you to figure nothing out. It say ask, believe, and receive.